Guys, and welcome to another video here on my channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about all the postpartum essentials you need when you have a baby. At least that I needed, and maybe you'll need them too. So postpartum essentials, let's talk about what really happens when you have a baby. Disclaimer. Having a baby is different for everybody. Everyone has a different experience. Everyone's situation is different, whether you have a hospital birth, a birth center birth, or a home birth, or an unassisted birth. How your baby comes out, whether you tear, whether you have a C-section, whether you don't tear. All of those things, everyone is different, but I'm hoping this video can help some of you guys out there feel more rest assured. So there will be some TMI in this video. Birth, postpartum, it's all TMI. So if you don't want to watch, I totally understand. After I had her, I ended up having a 2nd degree tear, almost 3rd degree tear, and the recovery was intense. I went into birth thinking I would feel completely normal after having a baby because pregnancy was hard and I never expected postpartum to be as hard as it was. I had an epidural because that's just how my birth went. I didn't plan to have an epidural. I'm glad I did because 31 hours of active labor or transitional labor is not fun. So I don't know if I hadn't had the epidural, my recovery may have been easier. I'm not sure, but I was super swollen down there, and I did not anticipate that swelling. I didn't anticipate not being able to sit properly because of the pain. And even in the hospital bed, you know, the hospital beds can come up, lay flat, and even laying flat was painful for me. So that was one thing I didn't anticipate. And then the bleeding, I anticipated bleeding, but I just didn't anticipate having pain when I peed, like burning pain. I didn't anticipate not being able to poop. I didn't anticipate how many things you use to help your down there region. And yeah, so let's get into these products that I found really helped my recovery. So the first thing I'm gonna say is at the hospital, they will provide you with these mesh underwear things. And I wore the mesh underwear. I can insert a picture here. I wore the mesh underwear for a day, I think the day I gave birth. And then I was like, I hate these so much. Like, they're not comfortable at all. I ended up I purchased these for my home birth, but took some to the hospital with me. They are these adult diapers, and they're super attractive. Like, look how attractive that is. They're massive. These are a size large because my midwife suggested I get a large or an extra large. These are so much more comfortable than the hospital mesh panties they give you, at least in my perspective and my experience that I had. So I would take one of these adult diapers, and then I would insert the pads they give you, and I'm going to insert a picture of the pads they give you in the diaper, and then I would insert a cooling pack, which they also provided, and I'll insert a picture here, on top of the pad. So it was like diaper, thick, huge pad, and then cooling pad. And that was the daily, every time I peed, every time I needed to change my pad, that was the cycle. So there was a ton of blood, a ton of stuff just coming out because you just had a baby and your body needs to flush everything out so it can start fresh. I think I used the adult diapers for 1 to 2 weeks. Yep, I used these for quite a while. And then I used those big diapers for 5 days, I think. And then I used the cooling pads for on and off for 2 weeks. My perineal area, do you say perineal or perineal? I don't know. But that area was so sore for me. Like my tailbone, everything down there was so sore for such a long period of time. And I don't know if it was because of her position or the fact that I pushed for 4 hours nonstop. Probably one of those two reasons, or both. But I really struggled with the pain and the discomfort, and so all of those things were completely necessary for me. The next thing I did use for a couple days was Dermoplast, and that was another thing that the hospital gave me to use. I definitely don't usually opt for things that have tons of chemicals in them, but I needed it. After I gave birth, I seriously did not care what was on my body as long as it helped give me some relief, if only for like a few hours, just so that I could sit and lay down comfortably while I was nursing her and sleep somewhat. So I used the Dermoplast, which helps to cool and numb the area down there, because there's a lot of swelling, burning, you're bleeding, your pelvis feels out of line, all of that stuff. The Dermoplast really helped, but I then transitioned into a more natural one after the first few days, which is the Earth Mama perineal spray. It's all herbal. There's no parabens or artificial fragrance, and this is predominantly like witch hazel in this, which is known for its like soothing properties. It really helps soothe, and it helps it almost is like a cooling mist, and you just spray it up there and it feels amazing. And I used this for many weeks, probably 3 to 4 weeks. I used this every time I peed, every time I used the bathroom, I would spray it up there, and it just feels amazing and helps so much. The next thing I did, and also they provided the hospital, was this peri bottle. And this, don't worry, it's been sanitized. This is a cleaner in here, which I keep it clean with. This is just a bottle that you squirt up there, and every time you pee, sometimes it can burn after you have a baby, especially if you've had stitches, and I had a lot of stitches. I would take this bottle and just squirt up there with warm water while I peed and after I peed, to keep things clean and to also help less stinging and burning and all of that. So I did that for a couple weeks, and then I would follow it up with spraying with this herbal perineal spray. So I actually had I have two of these bottles. One was in my upstairs bathroom, one was in my downstairs bathroom. And so every time I peed, I had one, and I wasn't carrying it around. After I stopped using the adult diapers, I then transitioned into using just cheap underwear like this. It's super stretchy, super comfortable. This is clean, by the way. Just simple underwear. I think I got these at Target. They were super cheap. Like panties that you won't mind get stained maybe, or you just throw away after. And then so I would wear these, and then in the underwear I would put a pad, one of these pads. I'll insert a picture right here, or one of these pads. This is another kind. It's a size 2. And this just looks like this. It's super thin, the ultra thin kind, and it's wingless, so you don't want anything with wings, but it's super long. And I would just insert this into my underwear, and then that usually was completely fine for me after the first 2 weeks of heavy bleeding. And then for the remaining like 4 to 5 weeks, this is what I would wear. After I didn't need to use these pads anymore, I then transitioned into these 7th generation chlorine-free liners. And these were just an easy thing. After 5 or 6 weeks, you kind of stop, the bleeding stops, all the fluid stops, and your body starts just being normal. But I still had like a little bit of stuff coming out. So I transitioned into these just super small, thin liners. From day 1 to 6 weeks, I'd say it took my body the whole 6 weeks before my bleeding stopped, and all the fluid that comes out, that's flushing out of your body, completely stopped. So I first did the diapers, and then I did the pads with the underwear, and then I transitioned to just normal panties with a liner. I also recommend you guys getting a really nice nursing bra. For me, my boobs, oh my gosh, I remember this. The first few days after I gave birth, my boobs were huge. It's so true that when you're pregnant, your boobs get bigger, but then once you give birth, your boobs get even bigger and they get hard when your milk comes in. My milk came in the day after I gave birth, and my boobs were like huge and rocks and super like engorged. They were engorged, but milk was still able to come out, which was good. So get yourself a good nursing bra. This one is from Nordstrom's, and it is the Luxury Seamless Rock Candy Maternity and Nursing Bra. This one is a size small. I recommend just investing in a good maternity bra, even if you don't have big boobs or whatnot, just because the convenience of having a nursing bra, especially when you're getting the hang of nursing and you need to feed your baby very regularly, and before your boobs have regulated the milk supply, just having a nursing bra I found was super convenient rather than like hiking up all my clothes, because the first few days I really was just chilling around the house in a bra and a tank top. So it was super convenient just having a nursing bra. I really like that brand as well. I also, with the engorgement and the full hard boobs, one tip that I found was going into the shower each day and just massaging my boobs and just kind of getting rid of that, like kind of loosening them up, I guess you could say, and kind of hand expressing and making sure the milk's flowing out of the milk ducts so that they don't get like you don't get a clogged duct and you don't get mastitis. And so doing that once or twice a day really helped me just like keep the milk coming and coming out of my boobs and having a good supply. And for my nipple situation, I really was lucky and did not have sore nipples for too many days. It was really only the first 3 to 4 days I ended up having sore nipples, but I didn't have any cracked nipples or bleeding nipples at all. They were just a little sore. And this Earth Mama nipple butter really helped. It's super natural, really helped to keep my nipples moisturized, and it's all safe for your baby to latch on. You don't have to wipe this off before feeding. So that's kind of what I did for the first few days where my nipples were sore. And then I dealt and still sometimes deal with leaky boobs because my supply is so like much. Even after 2 months, I'm now 10 weeks postpartum, I still occasionally get a leaky boob while I'm nursing her. So I'll nurse her on one side and this boob will be leaking a little bit. But at the beginning, your boobs are really leaky. Like I literally had a tank top on in the hospital, which I recommend getting some tank tops. Aerie has some amazing tank tops that are super affordable and nice quality. Your boobs are so leaky. I had a tank top that basically has like 2 rings of leaked milk and colostrum on them, and I can't wash it out because it's just stained from like the day after I gave birth. But I definitely recommend getting some nursing pads. These are just disposable nursing pads. They're from the brand Bamboobies, and I find these super comfortable. They just fit in my bra. They don't make my boobs look a weird shape or give me like 10,000 nipples. So get yourself some disposable or reusable nursing pads for postpartum, because the first few days your boobs are really going to be leaky as your milk regulates, and then if you have an oversupply like me, then occasionally at night I will still stick these into my boobs, into my nursing bra or my bra, just so during the night, if she sleeps a little longer than usual and my boobs are a little fuller, I'm not dealing with like milk going everywhere during the night. So those are all the products that I recommend that you should have postpartum. I definitely feel like I have a better idea of what postpartum actually means now that I've had a baby, and I can be a bit more prepared for my second baby. But you know what? Despite the whole recovery process and getting your body back to feeling normal, and even for me, just being able to sit on my butt was a huge accomplishment and an amazing feeling for me, because it took me so long before I could walk and sit properly. It is so worth it when you have a baby, and just relish in the moment and enjoy your little one and give them lots of cuddles and kisses, and don't feel too frustrated in it, because it really will heal. I had moments of feeling like, wow, am I ever gonna go back to normal? Is my body ever gonna feel normal again? And even though it took a long time, I feel pretty much 100% normal now. My pelvis feels pretty normal, although I still need to be doing Kegel muscles because I sometimes pee myself still. I know, it's embarrassing. But my down there feels pretty normal. My milk supply is normal. Nursing feels normal. There's no more bleeding. There's no more stuff coming out, and it really will improve over time. So don't get discouraged, because it's okay. It's all worth it. And us women, we're strong and we do things men could never do. That is it, guys. I hope you found this video useful and helpful. I will see you guys next time. Bye.